Rose Namajunas' next opponent. Who should this girl fight next? Guys, if you don't know Rose Namajunas, she fights at 115 pounds. When she first got in MMA, like when she was in Invicta, I was watching her in Invicta. She really stood out because she came in, she was winning fights, and she had that flying armbar. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Type in Rose Namajunas flying armbar. Go watch it. It's pretty crazy. It's like just in a literally like I don't know how long, a very brief time. She like it's nuts. It's wild. Like it's crazy. I'd like to see some more of that. Actually, I remember Nick Diaz like trying flying arm bars when he was younger. I'd like to see more of that. It's a pretty good move. I don't know really why you don't see it more, because when you clinch, if you have somebody's arm, I mean, heck, obviously you could land on your skull. Maybe you could break your neck or something. I don't know. It's pretty crazy, but anyway. But no, so she was really popular, I think, because she had such great performances, and then that flying armbar, and all that. But then all of a sudden she fought Tisha Torres and she lost. And when these girls lose, like, and it goes for any fighter, if they're undefeated and they lose, people's excitement for them just drops, especially if they get worked in a fight. I'm not saying that she got worked, but then her fight after that, she goes and fights Carla Esparza, and she loses. So now you have a girl that's like everybody's stoked on, all of a sudden loses 2 fights in a row. But, Tisha Torres, if you guys have watched this girl fight, I mean, she's really, really tough. In fact, I was kind of surprised when I saw her lose. And then Carla Esparza, that girl beats everybody, but man, she sure didn't look like it against Joanna Jedrzejczyk. That's the best I can do with Joanna's name. Because she just, I never seen that coming in a million years. Because Carla Esparza, this girl for years, she destroys everybody. Okay, so what I'm saying is, Rose Namajunas, all of a sudden people are like, oh, this girl, she's just an average fighter. Because her record, whatever it was at the time, a few wins and a few losses. Not a few, I think 2 losses, but maybe 3 wins, whatever her record was, at that time after when she lost 2 fights. And, then she comes in and has this great what I'm saying is, those 2 girls, they're pretty tough. They're really tough opponents. She went, maybe they were too tough. Maybe they shouldn't have thrown her in there with them, but that being said, then she comes on, they put her against Paige VanZant, which is probably the type of fighter that they should have been putting her in there with when she had a handful of wins. They should have given her to another girl that was, somewhat new. Tisha Torres is pretty new too, but when you see Tisha Torres in there just destroying Felice Herrig is, she's a pretty decorated fighter. And she was kickboxing, and then she'd been in MMA for a pretty long time. She's older. She's not a little kid. So when you see Tisha Torres just take it to Felice Herrig, then to take Rose Namajunas and put her in there. And I apologize if Tisha fought Rose Namajunas before Felice. I think she fought Felice before she fought Rose Namajunas. I could be wrong. But either way, you see what I'm saying there. We all knew Tisha Torres was really good. So really, they probably kind of goofed up on that one. And I've always said that fighters should take their time. Even with Holly Holm, I said prior, when she was going to fight Ronda Rousey, I said they shouldn't make this fight. Let Holly Holm get some more fights before she fights Ronda. And yeah, she had this great performance against Ronda, but then, she goes in there and she gets submitted against Miesha Tate. So now, all of a sudden, boom, her 5 minutes of fame is over. Now, that was such a great performance, but ultimately, people need to learn. It's a stepping stone. anybody could beat anybody on any given night, but that doesn't mean that they're the best fighter. So it's going to be short-lived. And if anything, it's going to mess with them getting better, because now they're suffering losses. When you're suffering losses, you start questioning your training. You start questioning your training partners. You start questioning your diet, your boyfriend, girlfriend. You start questioning everything when you start losing. And it really does a number on your confidence. And, that definitely was something that really wasn't good. I'm sure she would say, oh, I've learned a lot from these losses, which is true. You will learn from losses. But anyway, fortunately, Rose Namajunas comes in against Paige Van Zandt. And I think it would have made 3 losses in a row if she had lost the fight against Paige Van Zandt. But no, she comes in and she has this great performance. But, Paige Van Zandt, she had a lot of publicity, people talking to her, media and stuff. But she was more on an up-and-coming fighter. In fact, now Rose Namajunas was actually, experience-wise, she had more experience than Paige Van Zandt. So that was pretty cool. So who should Rose Namajunas fight now? And I am a Rose Namajunas fan. I like Rose Namajunas. She's very fun to watch. Lots of submissions, and I like to see that because, there used to be back in the day, like, it seemed like there was more people who were, it seemed like submission fighters, like grapplers, it seemed like they were, it seemed like that was almost more important. Nowadays, we're kind of seeing the opposite. We're seeing, like, boxers coming up, Conor McGregor's, people like this. So it's kind of nice when you can see somebody that's just known for submissions, because submissions are like, man, there's so many submissions that are possible that we don't really see. It's true, because to pull it off in a fight is not always easy, but I mean, you guys, you can watch Shayna Baszler, like, doing neck cranks on a girl, like just crazy stuff, like Three Stooges type stuff, you know what I mean? Like, remember Fedor was with Bigfoot, he was trying to go for like a toe submission or like twist the guy's toe or something, So submissions are really underrated, I think. Obviously need to be well-rounded. But who should Rose Namajunas fight next? I think a good opponent for her would be Felice Herrig. I think Felice Herrig would be a perfect opponent, and I think it would be a very entertaining fight. I don't know who would win. I don't know what's going on with Felice these days. But that's who I think Rose Namajunas should fight next. Because as of right now, I don't think she has a fight booked. If Felice has a fight booked, and who knows, is Felice even fighting in the UFC? I don't even know, guys. But I'm just making a video just to talk about Rose Namajunas for a minute. I don't know Felice Herrig's situation, but I don't really care. I think they should fight. I'll see you guys later. Maybe she's not in the UFC. I don't know. I'll see you guys later.